Hello. So we are here at the hip opening sequence. Okay. So one of the main things that I have to address as far as the hips are concerned is that most of us suffer from tight hips, and that's because we sit for long hours and we don't. In the olden days, people used to sit on the floor, at least here in India, people sit on the floor and eat food. So that cross legged action itself opens up the hips on a regular basis. But since we are not doing that nowadays, our psoas muscles, there are many muscles associated with the hips, so they all get tightened into that default sitting position. So because the muscles have no need to stretch, because our entire routine is fixed towards seating. So aside from bad posture and stiffness, there's also the aspect of negative energy that is stored in our body. Now, our hips are a main storehouse of all our negative emotions that we have endured throughout the years. We may not be aware that we are carrying it with us, but the only time we are aware is when we actually do stretch them. And it's not easy stretching out the hip, but when you do that, the amount of weight that you feel has been lifted from your body is amazing. So that accounts for something. So clearly that does show you that we are holding emotional weight in our abdominal area, because we've got different chakras that start from the base all the way to the top. So most of us, well, unenlightened people tend to reside or dwell in the lower chakras, and the enlightened people tend to dwell in the upper chakras. So positive and negative emotions get funneled down to whichever chakra it is that you are residing on. Most of us are in the Muladhara chakra, which is the chakra where all the energy originates from, and it is located between your genitals and your butthole. Okay, so when that energy gets funneled all the way down, that's how you have to imagine it. Let's just say someone yells at you and that energy makes you upset. That energy gets funneled all the way down into the Muladhara chakra, and it gets soaked up around the body part that is around the Muladhara chakra, which is the hip region. And that is why we get tighter hips. Aside from our lifestyle aside, that is one of the reasons why everything is tight. Okay, so when we stretch them out, we are releasing those emotions as well, which is why we feel the one ecstatic feeling comes whenever we stretch some part of our body that we haven't stretched in a long time. It's because the emotions and the pranic energy is being stored there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, just like last time, we're going to do some exercises and some stretches and then lead up to some asanas. But first, we have to learn what all muscles are governing the hips. Okay, so now let's understand what muscles govern the movement of our hips, okay? We've got the most familiar one, which is the hamstrings or the hammies. They are the ones that prevent us from touching our toes. Now, why is that? It's because firstly, you have to understand that the hamstrings originate from our hip bone all the way down to our lower leg. There's a bone called the tibia. It is connected to the tip of the tibia from the hip bone. That's a long distance. So it's quite understandable why it would take an effort to touch the toes, because we are not extending. We require the muscle to work out and stretch in that manner. Only then will it be familiar for it to stretch that much. Okay, it's not like as simple as flexing our bicep. Okay, so the hamstrings are the first set of muscles. Next set of muscles are the quadriceps, which are the biggest muscles in our body. They've got 4 heads, and they also connect from the hip bone all the way to the tibia. Okay, so the quadricep helps us lift our thigh, and the hamstring helps us lift our thigh in this manner. Okay. Then we've got a set of muscles called the adductors, which are the inner muscles here, which prevent us from doing a side split. Okay, they immediately lock us in. Okay, so these muscles form in a form of a fan pattern. They're connected from the hip all the way to the femur. Okay, and there are many muscles that go in a particular radial pattern like this, and they are on both sides. So of course, stretching these is a task, because we rarely ever do an action like a side split. So that is why a lot of work needs to be done on this. And then finally, we've got the glutes. The glutes are connected from your butt muscles. They're connected from the hip all the way to the femur. The femur is this bone here. Okay, that is one set. And then finally, we've got one weird set of muscles called the psoas muscles, which originate from the lower spine of all places. They go through the hip bone and connect to the femur. Okay, so the psoas muscles are the ones that are responsible for tightening up and making us bend like this. It's because when we are sitting all the time, the psoas muscles are contracted and kept for a long period. So the psoas muscles thinks, okay, you know what, that's all I need to do. I don't need to stretch. So when we get up, we are like this. We can't stretch all the way. So our job is to refresh that muscle's memory and tell it that we need it to move in this particular range of motion. All right. Now that we're all set, let us start off by mobilizing our body before we get into the stretches and the asanas, all right? So like any other sequence, we're going to start off with the basic balasana. Come to tabletop pose. Go back and rest on your heels and rest your head on the mat. Surrender yourself to the sequence. Right now, you have no worries or anxiety regarding any issue in your life. It's just you, the sequence, on this mat. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. Okay. Now let's come back to tabletop pose or Manjari and let's get into cat-cow position. Inhale, flex your spine. Exhale, hunch your back. Inhale, flex your spine. Exhale, hunch your back. Inhale, flex your spine. Exhale, hunch your back. Make sure you're stretching the muscles underneath your scapula. Inhale, flex. Feel the fascia in your upper body stretch in this pose. Exhale, hunch your back. With that, we have mobilized our spine. Now, let us get into Anahata Asana, where you're stretching your body all the way down. Make sure your chin touches the floor. And if you're flexible enough, make sure your chest also touches the floor. This really opens up the chest muscles. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, we have mobilized our spine and have warmed up the upper body. Now let's slowly move into the hips. So for that, first off, we're going to spread our legs out like so and form a swastika symbol but as you turn to each side. When you turn to this side, you see it forms a 90 degree and a 90 degree. Okay? That is to open up the hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. With that, we've just started warming up the hip muscles. Next, let us get into Mallasana, where we go into a deep squat. If you're finding it difficult to squat in this position, you can always lean on the wall and try to squat. And to further enhance the squat, you can prop your elbows in between your knees and do a pranam. So that stretches the knees outward. You can even stretch your feet forward. Small pulsing action you can do to further widen the stance. Stay 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's sway a little bit from side to side. And with that, we have warmed up our hips for the stretching exercise. Now let's move along with our hips. So next what we're going to do is we're going to sit cross-legged if you're not that flexible and do this next exercise. Otherwise, what I'd recommend is put your right foot over your left knee and make sure your right knee is resting over your left foot. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to isolate the hamstrings and the adductors over here. Okay. So interlock your fingers, raise your hands all the way up. Exhale, go all the way down. You can feel the pull on the right leg's hamstring. You can pulse a little bit if you wish. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, let our hands go down. Let's change to the other side. Left knee over the right foot over the left knee, one on top of the other. It's always one side will be less flexible than the other. As you can see, my knee is just popping up instead of going down. Okay. Same thing. Let's interlock our fingers. Stretch all the way up and stretch all the way down and start pulsing slowly. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And with that, we've got a really good stretch here. Now let's go further along with the stretch. What we're going to do is we're going to stretch our legs and fold our right leg and place the right foot beside the left knee. Okay? Take your left hand and wrap it around the knee, around your leg. Take the right hand in the similar way, wrap it around the right leg and pull your leg as close to the chest as you can. If possible, rest your chin on top of your knee. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Fold your leg, put it beside the knee, wrap your hands around the knee and pull it towards your chest. You can feel the pull on the other side of the hamstring. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, that left side is really tight. Next, we're going to amp it up a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to sit cross-legged first and take our right leg. Take the cup of your elbow here and place your foot into it and place your other arm hugging the knee. So you're essentially carrying your lower part of your leg like a baby. Okay? Push it as close to the chest as you can and start rocking it to the left and right like you rock a baby. So this gives complete stretch, gives a complete stretch to the hamstring. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Wrap the hand around the foot and same thing around the knee. Push it as close to the chest as you can. If it touches the chest, great. And start swinging. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, we have finished the next set of opening up the hips. Now let's go even further, okay? We're going to attack our hips individually with each leg, okay? So first, we're going to extend our left leg and make sure your right leg heel is under your Muladhara chakra. Inhale, hands up, turn to your left and put your hips forward first and then exhale and hold till whichever part you can reach. If it's your knee, ankle, toes are great. and just stay here. If you can force yourself to touch your head on the knee like so. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring your arms up and down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Right leg extended, left heel under the Muladhara chakra. Turn to your right, extend the hands up, hips forward first and go all the way down. Try to touch your head to the knee if you can. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands up, relax. Give a good stretch to the hamstrings there. And also the adductors, because in this case, when you're in a slanting position like this, the adductors also come into play. Next, let us amp this up a little bit more. This is a little hard. So what we're going to do is, we are going to fold our right leg back in such a way that you get an L shape here. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit intense because this really pulls our quadriceps and our adductors. Same thing here also, okay? So there's a tendency to fall back like this. So if that's the case, you can reduce the angle to less than 90, but to get the full effect of the stretch, if you can manage a 90-degree angle, that'll be great. This is hard even for me. So what we're going to do is, we're going to raise our hands up, hips forward first, head to the knee, interlock your fingers, push your head down, pulse, and twice to the back to give a good twist. Again, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 5, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. That pulsing action stretches out everything. The parts which you normally don't want to be stretched. It just nails it out there. So the same thing on the other side. Okay, L shape. This leg is harder. It's always harder. In fact, I'm not an exact 90-degree. Try to stretch it out a little bit more. Okay, fine. I hope I don't get a catch. Okay. Exhale, go down. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Stretch, go down. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, go down. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. 4, go down. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. And finally, 5, go down. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, oh, that was a workout. That was a workout. Right, let's finish this off with stretching both our legs out. And now we are all prepped up for this because we've stretched every other angle. Okay, so we raise our hands up, go all the way down, and try to go as far as you can. Touch your head to the knee if you can. Say 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips are the hardest, I have to say. All right, so we are done with the prep, we're done with the stretches. Now let's move on to the asanas. Let's start off with the worst one of all, frog pose or Mandukasana. Okay, this is painful, but it has to be done. There's no escaping it. So what we do is, we keep our knees in a V shape like this, okay, as much as you can. And make sure your feet are, the heels of your feet cross the knee level, are not inside the knee level, but they cross the knee level. And same thing on the other side. So you're basically splayed out like a frog, okay. And put your elbows down and pulse all the way back. You can feel a nice pull in your quadriceps and your adductors. Keep doing this for a while. Stay 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That, let us put our palms down and stand in the same pose. Let's push back again. Stay 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, this is the worst pose. Let's sit in Vajrasana for some time, just to ease things out. Okay. Next, we're going to attempt the pigeon pose or Rajakapotasana. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to come to tabletop. Okay. Go back to mountain pose or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spend few moments over here. Stay 3, 2, and 1. And let's take our right leg and place it such that this line of the foot is parallel to this line in the mat, okay? That is the ideal way to do it. If you're not that flexible, you can always push your foot back towards the back, but ideally, for the asana to take effect, you need to make it parallel to the mat here. Okay, so let's stretch the left leg all the way back and hold. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that even further and go all the way down. Make sure your chest touches your leg, the lower part of your leg. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, let's go back to mountain pose or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stay here for some time. Stay 3, 2, and 1. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Leg, make sure the lower part of the leg is parallel to the mat, okay? Let's stretch the right leg as back as we can. You can feel the pull on the hamstring. Notice that I'm using my arms to hold both my feet and my knee in the same position so that it doesn't go back. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take it further. Go all the way down. Make sure your chest touches the lower leg. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, that was a good stretch. With that, we are done with the seated or the lying down asanas. Next, we'll go up with the warrior pose asanas with some slight modifications. So, on to our warrior poses, okay? So for this, we're going to stand up. And we're going to start off with warrior pose 1. So for that, let us extend our left leg and the right leg all the way back. Go all the way down into a low lunge and put both arms up, like so. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's modify this and drop the right knee down and stretch it as much as you can and go into crescent moon pose or Anjaneya asana. These really stretch the psoas muscles on the right leg. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, let's go back to downward dog and have a rest here. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Right leg forward and lunge all the way down. That will strengthen your quadriceps. And both hands up in warrior pose 1 or Virabhadrasana 1. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do the modification and lower the left knee down. Stretch it even more. We need to grab that psoas muscle and stretch it out. Stay 5 and bend back. Bend back in crescent moon pose. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Palms down, right leg back. Rest in mountain pose or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right leg in front, left leg in front. With that, we are done with the warrior pose 1. Next is warrior pose 2. Okay, we're going to start off with tabletop or Marjari Asana. Go all the way back to downward dog or mountain pose. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right leg forward. Go down to a deep lunge as much as you can and stretch out both your arms in a warrior 2 stance, so Virabhadrasana 2. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next, let's go into extended side angle pose or Parshva Konasana. Right hand beside your right foot and look at your extended palm. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back, palms down, right leg back in Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog. Let's do the same thing on the left leg in between the palms. Go into a deep lunge and extend both your arms in warrior 2 pose. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, let's get into the extended side angle pose or Parshva Konasana. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Palms down, left leg back, rest in Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog pose. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right leg in, left leg in. Slowly come up. And that's the warrior 2 pose. Stretching. Next is the warrior 3 pose. Okay, so for this, it involves balancing on one leg. So if you are finding it difficult to do that, you can always choose to use both legs and do the asana. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to stand and raise our arms all the way up, and from your hips bend all the way down. Those who can't balance can stay in this position. Others can lift your right leg and balance. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that, let us go to the modification. Form a triangle with your legs without bending your knees, and left palm all the way down to the ground, right palm to the sky. Trikonasana or triangle pose. Stay 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That really stretches the hamstrings here and the adductors. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Hands up, bend all the way down from the hips, and lift your left leg up Stay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back. Form a triangle. And right palm on the ground, left palm all the way up to the sky. Stay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And with that, we have completed the workout. Let us stand for a few moments in Samasthitihi and catch our breath. Absorb energy from the surroundings by your open palms and fingers. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale in. Exhale. And with that, we are done with the workout. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the hip opening asanas and the exercises and the stretches. Wow, I can't believe, I honestly never thought I'd get this far as the videos were concerned. So I'm very happy that it has come to this much. And first off, shout out to everybody who's liked my videos and who subscribed, and 100 views even is just something I couldn't even have imagined. So it's bizarre how that has happened. So thank you so much for all the love and support. And I'm going to keep making videos like this because clearly you guys like it. So more and more content yet to come. We've covered our neck, chest, and our hips. So much more to go. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one then. Take care. Bye.